In the sprawling vistas of the Roman Empire, within a luxurious villa adorned with opulent mosaics, lived Lucius. A man of youthful exuberance, he was in his early 20s, with raven black hair that caught the sun's golden rays and a stature that spoke of inherited Roman aristocracy. One would think that someone of Lucius's stature, born into such affluence, would wear an ever-present smile, reveling in the joys that his fortune bestowed upon him. Yet, behind those deep-set eyes, there was a shadow, an inescapable void. Night after night, the lavish halls of his abode echoed with the sounds of revelry. Wine flowed like rivers, and music and laughter filled the air as Lucius sought distraction in raucous parties and hedonistic escapades. He surrounded himself with a sea of faces, hoping the sheer number would mask the profound loneliness that gnawed at him. But when dawn's first light broke, and the remnants of the night's excesses lay strewn around, Lucius's heart weighed heavy with emptiness. The wine, which promised temporary relief, only deepened the chasm of his desolation. The countless nights of frivolity, instead of bringing joy, only magnified the hollowness within. For Lucius, the paradox was cruel. He had everything anyone could desire: wealth, status, and youth. Yet, the very treasures that many coveted were the chains that bound him to a life of melancholy. Every sunrise posed the same haunting question: why, amid such plenty, did happiness elude him? Lucius often found solace in the bustling marketplace. One sweltering afternoon, as Lucius ambled through the stalls, a hushed conversation between two scholars caught his attention. They spoke of the emperor in Rome, not of his conquests or his rule, but of his wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, one of them whispered with an air of reverence, is not just an emperor. His meditations reveal insights profound enough to rival the teachings of the great philosophers. The name echoed in Lucius's mind: Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who was also a philosopher. Intrigued, he approached the scholars. "Pardon my intrusion," he began, "but I couldn't help overhearing. Tell me more about this Marcus Aurelius." The older of the two, a man with graying temples and a thoughtful demeanor, looked Lucius up and down, sensing his genuine curiosity. "He is a Stoic," the scholar began, "one who believes not in the excesses of life, but in finding balance and meaning through reflection, discipline, and understanding the nature of life." Lucius's heart raced. Could this be the answer he so desperately sought? An emperor who might possess the wisdom to fill the void that had plagued him for so long. Determined, Lucius made a decision that very moment. He would travel to Rome, the heart of the empire, and seek an audience with Marcus Aurelius. Perhaps, just perhaps, in the chambers of the philosophical emperor, he might find the guidance to mend his fractured soul. The road to Rome, as Lucius soon discovered, was not easy. The landscape seemed to mirror his inner chaos. On the first leg of his journey, dark clouds amassed overhead, releasing a torrential downpour. In a crowded inn at a way station, while Lucius rested, a cunning thief pilfered his money pouch. Waking to find his savings gone, Lucius felt a surge of anger, followed swiftly by vulnerability. In his sheltered life, he'd been protected from such betrayals. Now stripped of his wealth and comfort, he was forced to confront his reliance on material crutches. But it wasn't just nature or rogue individuals that tested him. Fellow travelers, curious about this well-dressed young man journeying to Rome, often inquired about his mission. When Lucius shared his goal of seeking wisdom from the emperor, many scoffed. "You leave luxury for a mere conversation," one elderly traveler mocked. Another, a merchant, remarked, "Rome's streets are lined with scholars. What makes you think the emperor has what you seek?" These doubts, instead of deterring him, forced Lucius to question his motives deeply. Was he chasing a dream, a mirage of hope, or did he genuinely believe that Marcus Aurelius held the answers? Arriving in Rome in all its grandeur initially overwhelmed Lucius. Its towering structures and bustling streets were a world apart from his secluded hometown. Yet with unwavering persistence, he navigated the bureaucratic labyrinths of the imperial palace, seeking an audience with the revered Emperor Marcus Aurelius. After numerous attempts, fortune favored Lucius. He found himself standing before the philosophical emperor. The room was filled with a serene aura, and Marcus Aurelius, with piercing eyes that seemed to transcend the mundane, waited patiently. Taking a deep breath, Lucius began narrating his tale of sorrow. of the emptiness that gnawed at him despite his privileged existence. As he spoke, the emperor's gaze never wavered, absorbing every word with genuine empathy. Marcus Aurelius began to unveil the ancient wisdom of Stoicism to the eager Lucius. At the core of our suffering, the emperor began with a gentle cadence, is our misguided perception of control. We torment ourselves over events beyond our grasp while neglecting that which is firmly within our hands. Our reactions, our judgments, our desires. Lucius leaned in, absorbing every word. The concept was simple yet profoundly transformative. The external world, with its unpredictable chaos, was not the root of his misery. Instead, it was his response to it, his futile attempts to command the uncontrollable. Marcus continued, when faced with adversity, see it not as a curse, but as a crucible. With a thoughtful pause, he added, challenges mold our character, refining us into stronger versions of ourselves. Lucius pondered on this, realizing that his journey to Rome, rife with its trials, had already begun this very process within him. But remember, the emperor cautioned, true fulfillment doesn't lie in fleeting pleasures. It resides in inner contentment and virtue. External joys are transient, like sand slipping through fingers. Virtue, however, is an enduring beacon, illuminating our path even in the darkest nights. Lucius's initial audience with Marcus Aurelius transformed into an extended holiday in Rome. The majestic city became his sanctuary of learning. Within the palace's walls, under Marcus's tutelage, Lucius delved deeply into the practice of Stoicism. Each morning, as dawn painted the Roman sky lined with hues of amber and gold, Lucius would sit in silent meditation. Guided by Marcus, he practiced focusing his thoughts. As days melded into nights, Marcus introduced Lucius to the Stoic exercise of reflection. Every evening, they would retreat to a serene balcony overlooking the eternal city. There, Lucius would recount his day, dissecting his actions, decisions, and reactions. This practice taught him self-awareness, helping him identify moments of weakness and strength, refining his character with each introspection. But perhaps the most transformative exercise was the practice of viewing life from a higher perspective. Marcus would often describe it as seeing the world from above. Imagine, the emperor would say, looking down upon the vastness of existence, seeing the interconnectedness of all things, and understanding the transience of life's tribulations. This cosmic perspective instilled in Lucius a profound sense of humility and the ability to distinguish between trivial concerns and life's true virtues. Through rigorous Stoic exercises, coupled with Marcus Aurelius' sagacious guidance, he metamorphosed from a disillusioned young man into a centered, enlightened soul. The teachings of Stoicism, more than mere philosophical musings, had become a way of life, guiding him towards inner peace and profound wisdom. The dark cloud of desolation that once enshrouded him lifted, replaced by a radiant aura of serenity. His eyes, previously windows to a tormented soul, now sparkled with clarity and purpose. Every action, every word emanated a newfound reverence for life. The teachings of Stoicism had not only illuminated his path, but kindled a flame within. Lucius recognized the value of every moment, every breath, seeing life not as a series of frivolous pursuits, but as a sacred journey towards virtue and purpose. Empowered by this transformation, Lucius felt a compelling desire to extend a guiding hand to others who wandered aimlessly in the shadows of despair. Rome, with its sprawling alleys and grand avenues, was home to countless souls seeking solace, and Lucius became their beacon. Setting up gatherings in city squares and aiding the downtrodden, he shared the wisdom he had imbibed from Marcus Aurelius. Through heartfelt conversations and empathetic guidance, Lucius began healing the wounded spirits of Rome. In aiding them, he not only solidified his own transformation, but also perpetuated a legacy of hope and enlightenment in the very heart of the empire. As the seasons turned, Lucius felt a pull towards his hometown, the place where his journey of self-discovery had begun. With Rome's skyline receding in the distance, he embarked on his return journey, not as a seeker this time, but as a beacon of wisdom. His arrival was met with astonishment. The townsfolk, who remembered the despondent young man, now beheld someone transformed. Lucius's very presence exuded an aura of peace, and his words carried the profound wisdom of Stoicism. Feeling a responsibility to share the teachings that had liberated him, Lucius established gatherings akin to those he held in Rome. Beneath olive trees and beside ancient fountains, he spoke of control, virtue, and the impermanence of life's tribulations. His teachings resonated deeply, transforming not just individual listeners but the very fabric of the community. The once hedonistic town began to prioritize virtue and inner peace. Compassion, understanding, and self-reflection became the pillars upon which daily life rested. In the end, Lucius' journey was not just a personal transformation but of legacy. Through Stoicism, he not only rediscovered himself but also ignited a beacon of enlightenment for his entire community, proving that wisdom's ripple effect could indeed change the world.